Hey guys, how you doing? It's Friday night, and this is KJ's What Happened. And it's basically, I'm going to be sharing some bits with you that I found throughout the week. This is what we do here. If you're new to the show, so hang out. Check it out if you're new. We appreciate you showing up. I saw Mindy and Effie, your mods tonight. Thanks, ladies, for being here. I really appreciate you. And I know sometimes it's an actual job over there, but thank you very much. And welcome as well to all of you who are in chat and who are listening live. I always enjoy that. That's one of the things I like the most about these Google live chats is they got the chat room there, and you guys can all hang out over there and talk and share information and dialogue and just feel like a part of a community. And that's a big deal, because it's obviously such a time of deception. We're going to get into some of that stuff too, but and that's everywhere. It's not just mainstream. It's here on the internet. There's a lot of that too. Even websites you might trust. Like I had a weird experience with a website called Godlike Productions. It just happened today. It's a conspiracy site. A lot of you probably know of it. A lot of y'all probably go check it out like I do every few days. You go see what's popping over there. And, it used to be a really cool website until about 2 years ago. And they started riding that Trump train just a little bit too hard because the whole website changed. They're not into the weirder, more interesting, or even spiritual aspects of things anymore. It's totally politics, Republican right-wing politics. That's what Godlike Productions became. I paid for a membership a few months ago. I figured I might as well. I've been going there for so long. So I paid for a membership. And then I posted a video. I posted my most recent video. I put it up over there about the Grammys. And then somebody immediately attacked saying that I need to focus on Jesus more. And, I get this stuff a lot from religious people. They're very selfish with their salvation and don't realize there's millions of other people out there that have no clue of what's going on in the world. So there's people like myself, and I'm not the only one. There's a lot of us, men and women, who watch for these things, and this is what we do. We show it to the world. But unfortunately, you'll get that very naive, maybe immature, or even just supremely self-righteous, religious type group of people sometimes that come around and try to dissuade you from doing this kind of work. So anyway, I told the person basically the same thing I told you. This person's being selfish with their salvation, and they were also another paid member. So next thing I know, I come back to the video. It's gone. They completely pulled it off the site, and they gave me 30 negative karma. Now, that might not mean anything to you, and it didn't mean anything to me till I got on the site. But, if you do abusive posts and whatever, abuse the rules, I guess, people can give you negative karma on there. It's just like these negative thumbs down that stay on your account. And the more you have, the more buried you are and your information is. So I must have, hurt somebody's feelings or something, because that was pretty hardcore, so I mentioned it. I wrote in some of the comment sections on some of the bigger mods over there. I was kind of commenting about that over there, and they were just being like I said, just really brutal about it, and I don't want to get into these little tiffs online. I just pulled my membership. I said, well, I'm not going to pay for this, so I pulled my membership. But like I said, that used to be a great place to go to, where you'd get a lot of interesting information and bizarre truth. But now it's all about the Trump train and how Trump is the new Jesus Christ and will save us from everything. So speaking of that, I know I started off on a bit of a tangent, but Trump says it'll be hard to unify the country without a major event. So this is going to mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. I've been covering this for quite a while, as well as many others out there too, that, Trump could very well be the last American president, if you want to put it that way. In the fact that we may see World War III start soon, and we may see some bombs popping off here in America, which is going to start a major change all around the world. Many of us believe that's when the Antichrist will actually be revealed, as far as in a worldly way. And that's going to be your completed New World Order. And it's not going to be a fun place to be. I'll just say that, from what I understand. Trump spoke about creating a more united country during a lunch with a number of television news anchors. Trump said the United States has long been divided, including during the impeachment of former President Bill Clinton. Trump also said that Americans usually come together during times of suffering. During times of suffering. I would love to be able to bring back our country into a great form of unity, Trump said, without a major event where people pull together. That's hard to do. But I would like to do it without that major event, because usually that major event is not a good thing. Remember when, you can look this up, Ronald Reagan, his famous speech where he said basically the same thing, but he was talking about an alien invasion. It's like, I sometimes wonder if the aliens came back, what it would be like to see the whole world pull together, you know, and all this stuff. So it's just the same kind of narrative, whether they're aware of it or not, some of the people, but we see it over and over and over again, that there needs to be some huge event to pull the world together, right? He says, I want to see our country united. I want to bring our country back from a tremendous divisiveness, which has taken place not just over 1 year, over many years, including the Bush years, not just Obama. He went on to say, let's just talk about healthcare. Anyway, that's kind of the gist of it. So Trump says it will be hard to unify the country without a major event. A major event.
The market gains, Kate.
Now, this is pretty crazy. This is fresh news here. Dow plunges 666 points. Worst day since Brexit. I'm not going to read the article, but it's really about the headline. So there you go. Interesting, right? Interesting. Find a lot of this kind of stuff. Speaking of messages being coded in stories, because this does happen, I saw this Miley Cyrus career suicide, but then it was the 33, because that's a coded number, and we find that show up in a lot of stories and a lot of news stories, even shootings and mass shootings and terrorist events. I mean, it's also the age that Christ died. But as with everything in this beast system, it's all perverted, turned around, and used for a different purpose. So we see the 33. They say there's 32 degrees in Freemasonry, but I've read a lot and shown some of their videos about how there's also whispers of the actual 33rd degree, which is the true highest. And that would be what's written about that, is that that's the point where somebody's fully been taken over by a demon, or perhaps a fallen angel, through some of these rituals. Anyway, so we find the 33 in a lot of things. But Miley Cyrus, career suicide at 24. It's just suicide when they start using that. And she is kind of used up, maybe they're done with her. I don't know. It'll be interesting to watch. It's a terrible, terrible thing when some of these people turn themselves over to that evil system, that Freemason Masonic system. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. Cyrus. Just see what we can pop up here for those of you who don't know. So these are all the nice pictures. Maybe they've cleansed some of the bad ones, but let's see. Miley Cyrus concert. Oops. Let's see if that does it. There we go. Okay, now we have it. So yeah, this is well, it's classy. First, it's classy. We got to keep it classy. Here we go. Mommy, will you take me to the Miley Cyrus concert? Well, yes, honey, as long as I can go too. This is a great show, Mommy. I agree. I'm really high right now, but I agree. That's the mommy talking. But then we go back, and yeah, they've kind of cleaned it up a little bit here on the main search. Mommy, will you take me to the Miley Cyrus concert? So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. I was trying to show you an image from one of the public rituals they do when they do these live shows, a lot of these live events, but where she's up on stage with, is it something thick? Not Alan Thicke. Robin Thicke, that's it. And he's wearing the black and white stripes, and he's acting out the role as the handler. And of course, she was the mind-controlled sex slave. So most of you probably seen that, but I just throwing it out there. This one I'm not gonna. It's like a really long one. I just wanted to share it with you. It's something new I stumbled on this past week when I was doing my video on the Grammys, and Dave Chappelle was on the Grammys. And ever since he, quote, came back, into the mainstream or whatever, to me, and this is before any conspiracies or anything, or anything weird I saw about it, but he didn't seem the same. He's looks different, right? And he doesn't sound the same. And his humor is not as sharp as it used to be. It's just something was off. And so I started looking into some Dave Chappelle stuff, and I found this. I didn't even know it existed. And this is just a copy. There's several copies of this online you can find. But Dave Chappelle, cousin, says the Illuminati cloned him and killed him, and also killed his family and cloned them as well. I know that sounds cuckoo crazy, but it's worth a listen. If you haven't listened to it, I'd give it a shot. I'd check it out. And, decide for yourself. I'm still a bit on the fence. It was very interesting, though, because, the person they sound legit. They don't sound like they're reading from a script. They seem like they're really recalling all this stuff and talking about it. And, they seem like the real deal. And it's just interesting. So what if? I don't know. But Dave Chappelle definitely... Oh, here you go. This is the popular one. Dave Chappelle definitely seems different. And that's one thing you'll see is when you start reading the comment sections or whatever, is a lot of people are saying the same thing, just as I did. Like before they knew about this, they thought something was just off. He didn't seem the same or look the same. Anyway, there you go. Something fun for you to look into if you're interested. And this is something else I was going to share related to that story I thought was pretty crazy. So as I was looking into this, I started looking, of course, just, Dave Chappelle, what's different about him or whatever, just kind of basic questions in a Google search. And this one came up from CNN from 2014. So this is about around that same time or whatever. But it said Dave Chappelle looks different now. And when you look down here, it's obviously not Dave Chappelle. He's a comedian and an actor, Craig Robinson. There he is, right there, Craig Robinson. And he's lost 50 pounds. So I don't know. I was thinking, isn't that weird? First off, I guess it could be a few things. One, this could be incredibly racist, whoever did this, because essentially they're saying that they all look alike, right? Really, like that's what I was thinking. Like, oh, one of these people, that's Dave Chappelle. No, it's not. Well, they look just alike. Do they? I don't think so, but that's a maybe. And then maybe they actually had the real story about Dave Chappelle here, right, underneath this. And maybe they pulled it. Maybe it was too much. I don't know. Now, that's just my head kind of bouncing around, but this is the way I think about things. So, but you go down and there's nothing here, nothing about Dave Chappelle. It just shows Craig Robinson and how he looks different. He lost 50 pounds. Good job, I guess. Satanist adopted a highway. Satanist adopted a highway. Let me see. It's a news story. I think I can play a news story. Let's see.
Near Casa Grande, that's exactly what they're going to see. Because the Satanic Temple of Arizona has now adopted a 2-mile stretch of roadway that they will clean and maintain over the next year.
I just want to clean up a highway. Please give me a highway to clean up. And they said, fine.
America Curl, a member of the Satanic Temple, reached out to the Department of Transportation last summer. She says the process of adopting the road was easy. She filled out an online form and paid a small fee.
And you put what you want on the sign. So we wrote the Satanic Temple, Arizona. And then you submit it to DOT and they get back to you really quickly.
Pearl understands there is a stigma surrounding the temple, especially after their attempts to read the invocation at Phoenix City Council meetings were denied.
I was a little hesitant because I understand, people here I name and worry that we're going to do something crazy or going to try and turn this into something political.
But she wants to make it clear this is about giving back to the community while keeping Arizona beautiful for everyone.
I really like that this project means enough to our members that we want to expand it so that people can get out there and work to show people that, keeping this state beautiful is important to them.
So yeah, isn't that nice? See, Satanists. See, you guys had it wrong all along. Satanists ain't that bad. Come on. Now, of course, this goes back to works, and this also connects back to Freemasons. It's a works-based religion or cult. And we're not saved by works. None of us. None of us. Saved by grace, not works. But this is what the Satanic Temple is doing, is putting out, quote, good works. It looks good to the world. Look, we're picking up trash off the highway. We're nice. Trust us. Right? It's all a show. But, you know, like, they get good press. Satanists get good press. And most stories I read about Christians, they're like, you know, Christian kills his entire family. You know, Christian goes crazy, choo-choo, you know, goes nuts at Starbucks or whatever it is. I mean, you know. This is pretty crazy. Fisherman left gobsmacked after catching mysterious mutant dragonfish, complete with horns on his head. I'll read some of this, though. But look at that thing, man. He got it from a river in Siberia. Said he was shocked. Now, he thinks it's mutated due to all the pollution, and that very well could be. Apparently, it's a big deal out there, I guess. The 25-year-old also suggested the horns could have formed as a result of the fuel and debris falling from space rockets launched at Baikonur in neighboring Kazakhstan, the Illuminati capital, Astana. Look up Kazakhstan and the capital Astana. I've put it in a lot of my videos. It's an Illuminati capital. All the symbols we see, we talk about. You say, oh, look, it's in the movie, the TV show. Well, you find it all in this actual city that's been there for quite a while. It's funny because those Borat movies always portray Borat. It's a comedy movie, if you've ever seen those. But Borat's kind of like this goofy guy from Kazakhstan. They always say he's from Kazakhstan. It's like that's the public image of Kazakhstan with these movies that they show it, and it's like this backwoodsy, farmy, people having sex with animals, stuff like that type place. But then when you look at Astana, it's like something out of the future. It's crazy. So look up Astana, Kazakhstan, if you want to see something interesting. The larger fish had 2 horns, the smaller one 4. He said, I was impressed with the catch. The fish were 14 kilograms and 7 kilograms. They had horns bent back towards their tail. Interesting. Also reminds me of the beast rising from the sea, symbolically, but that's the way I see a lot of this stuff. So yeah, the beast rising from the sea. Mutant dragonfish, most likely from all the pollution. Glee curse. Have you heard about this? Mark Salling, Corey Monteith, and more stars' troubles since the show. So one of these guys recently committed suicide. Most recently, Mark Salling, who played bad boy Noah Puckerman, died Tuesday of an apparent suicide weeks before he was scheduled to be sentenced in Los Angeles on child pornography charges. And apparently he was died Tuesday, several weeks after pleading guilty. He pled guilty to possessing child pornography. He was 35 years old. But real quick about this, and a lot of the things I show you this week may show up in some future videos of mine. Some of these are big stories to me. This one's interesting because it goes back to Ryan Murphy, who's the creator of Glee. He's also the creator of the American Horror Story series. And there's just a lot that's interesting about him. A future video I'll have completed. I'm still picking up pieces, but if anybody was a Hollywood Satanist or somewhere high on that level in that system, I do believe it's Ryan Murphy. And especially just through his work, I've got some interviews I can show you guys and stuff sometime, things he says. But I believe he's real high up on that level, and I'm judging him by his fruits. I'm not just casting a false accusation. So it's interesting. But then you see the curses. Like this was his first big show, was Glee. And now we see the fruits of that labor, right? We're seeing a curse over the show. to a degree here. Salling pleaded guilty in December, blah, blah, blah. Let's go to Naya. Naya Rivera, who played cheerleader Santana Lopez on the hit Fox show, recently faced a domestic battery charge that was dismissed in West Virginia. 2018, after her husband decided not to seek prosecution, so she was beating him up. The star opened up about her time on Glee in her 2016 memoir, Sorry Not Sorry, Dreams, Mistakes, and Growing Up. She revealed in the book that she had an abortion in 2010 during her day off from filming the show. She also discussed her relationship with co-star Mark Salling, whom she secretly dated, and detailed how she reacted to news of his child pornography possession charge. I can't say I was totally shocked, but still, WTF, Rivera wrote of Salling in her book. My son's nanny actually told me about it when the story broke. Then I had no doubt that God really did have my back all along the way. Corey Monteith. Glee stars were shocked when Corey Monteith was found dead in a hotel room in Vancouver, British Columbia on July 13th, 2013. An autopsy later revealed he died of an overdose of heroin and alcohol. The actor who played the lovable Finn Hudson was open with fans about his long history of drug and substance abuse, but his death was a shock to not only fans, but the entire cast of Glee. His girlfriend and co-star Leah Michelle said in her first public appearance 1 month after his death, I think it was 1 month, right? He was very special to me and also to the world, and we were very lucky to witness his incredible talent, his handsome smile, and his beautiful, beautiful heart. So whether you knew him personally or just as Finn Hudson, Corey reached out and he became a part of all of our hearts. All right. The fruits of Ryan Murphy's labor. Perhaps. No. All right. Just another one on Mark Salling there. Here's one to think about. And this is a little bit further back in January, but it's still something I wanted to share. It's from January 16th. Prophet, quote unquote prophet, Mark Taylor. Obama will be imprisoned for treason and 3 Supreme Court justices will be indicted. So he's an interesting guy. Have you heard of the Trump prophecy? Here it is down here. He talks about Taylor added that his prophecy that President Trump will get to replace 5 members of the Supreme Court may be tied to his other prophecy that Trump is about to unleash a wave of arrests against thousands of corrupt officials, many of whom are part of a massive satanic pedophile ring. So look up the Mark Taylor Trump prophecy. There's a lot of really interesting things there. A lot of things he did call, which is interesting, okay? That doesn't mean I buy every word from this man or anybody else in this world, especially any other human, you know? We're flawed. So I don't put 100% trust in any other human being ever. But, you know, I watch, and it's interesting. So, but this would be, really? I don't know. Obama to be imprisoned? I just don't know. That's a big one. And there's a big divide in the kind of communities that look into these kind of things. Because a lot of people believe Obama is the Antichrist and will be coming back to proclaim his role once the, quote, event, right, that big event, Trump's talking about big events. Maybe that big event, right, that's coming along perhaps very soon is going to pop off. And it'll be fire and fury. And then somehow, I don't know how, but there's ways, I'm sure, that Obama will somehow take his throne at that point. That's a belief. It's a possibility. I explore that a lot myself, and I'm watching it. Or will Obama actually be imprisoned by Trump? What do you think? What do you guys think? I'd be curious to hear that. And I'm not trying to push you one way or the other. I genuinely wonder what you guys think, the community, the people.
CBS revealed the full.
So more kind of Trumpish type news. Big Brother is a TV show I worked on many years ago. I think it was like season 9 and 10, or it was 10 and 11. Years ago, I lived out in Los Angeles. A lot of you that follow me already know all this stuff. I just worked in production on a lot of shows. But anyway, since then, I've still watched the show. And now they're having their very first Celebrity Big Brother. It's starting here in just a few weeks or less. I guess February 7th. Starting on February 7th. And one of the celebrities, the first time they've done it in America, they do it out in the UK. They've had that for years. It's real popular out there, the British version of Celebrity Big Brother. But, and yeah, it's total programming. I know, I get it. I've covered it. I've worked on it. But even working there, I can tell you that people weren't running around in black robes and talking about, mind controlling the public or anything. I mean, I didn't see any of that. I'm not privy to that stuff anyway. But I knew people that were top producers that were just very down to earth and nice people and talked to everybody. So, sometimes this stuff just works spiritually through people who don't have any faith and don't believe. They're like puppets like that. They don't even get it. This is just a possibility in a lot of these cases. And I know that's true. That's why you see we focus so much on the rise of narcissism and being psychopaths rising and sociopaths. But, these are the perfect puppets for spirits to work through, and they don't even realize they're being worked through, But I'm rambling, I know, and I do this. So Omarosa is the celebrity. There she is. Soon after White House aide Omarosa Newman's circus-like December exit from the Trump administration was announced, a source close to the situation says she was inundated with offers, but not for the types of gigs. There she is. Not for the types of gigs high-profile presidential aides usually get. It's like The Apprentice approached her, it looks like. Celebrity Big Brother. As they approached her, they were very aggressive. The world is obsessed with Trump. So her deal is a $1.3 million, and that includes a development to develop a syndicated talk show with a senior executive from CBS's The Talk. Anyway, this will be interesting. It looked like she didn't leave on very good terms. She came to fame through other reality TV shows. She was on The Apprentice with Donald Trump, I think, 2 or 3 times. And I think that's where she really got her start. But, she's known to be really feisty, very loudmouthed, incredibly opinionated, and doesn't have a filter. So it'll be interesting to see what this is, what happens on this show when she gets on there, and what is this? Is this another kind of psyop, against Donald Trump, or will she be allowed to say anything or really talk much about it? I mean, I guess this would be the time, since the show starts soon. For all we know, she's getting some mysterious phone calls, not from Donald Trump exactly, but perhaps groups that have his best interest at heart that don't want her to say much on this show. This would be the time, I guess, if that was going to happen. That might be happening if it hadn't already. Speculating here, I know, but just trying to think outside the bun for once in my life. So this was interesting too. The new Purge movie, it's called The First Purge. The Purge is about once a year in America, they have a purge where for 24 hours you're allowed to kill, rape, loot, do whatever you want to do, and there'll be no repercussions against you as far as legally. And the police are off the streets. So it's just a full day for you to go out and kill and do whatever you want to. And there have been several of these movies, but even this stuff has a lot of interesting kind of programming, because that right there is from the official poster. The First Purge, of course, looking like a Make America Great Again Donald Trump hat. So again, we're getting these messages. And are we just, are we reaching? Are we looking too deep? Or are we actually seeing some signs? I think it's signs. I cover this. This is what I'm into. And we see a lot of this. So more programming out of the theaters. But what are they programming us for, right? Well, as I've mentioned in other videos and stuff in the past and other shows, that, it's this whole thing, even with the Grammys at the end, having all the people read Fire and Fury that hate Trump, and they're focused on like his hair color and his eating habits, just it's very childish and immature type stuff. And again, I'm no Trump apologist. I'm not into the false left-right paradigm. I'm just calling it what it is. So they're slamming him. It's very childish. And then they pulled the old witch out of the closet. Hillary Clinton's on there. The woman makes my stomach turn. I can't even look at that thing. I just can't. It's one of those creatures I can't look at for very long. Something about it. I don't like it. Chubbs hates her too. I'm just saying. He doesn't like me spreading his personal biz, but this cat is no fan of Hillary Clinton. And again, that's not a political thing. I guess it's spiritual. I just feel that evil and death oozes off of her, but that's just me. So, there you go. More of the Trump stuff, more of the Trump hate. That's why that way, once the event happens, then they can blame everything on Trump and his supporters, you see? And that'll even further make way for a hardcore leftist type agenda, perhaps, Who knows? The signs are all around, but how will they connect, right? So there you go. More programming for the new Purge movie. There you go. It says here, what makes America great? The answer is simple, really. Americans make America great. That line could have been taken straight from Donald J. Trump's State of the Union address, but instead it was in a trailer for the horror movie, The First Purge. See how that works? That debuted during coverage of the president's speech on Tuesday night. I'm sure that's not by accident, right? Or are they telling you? It's the purge is coming. The real purge, not movie, but the purge of America is near. Makes one wonder, I'd say. Be prepared. Be prepared for anything. It's not, I have to throw this out occasionally, and this is not a religious show, because again, most religious people I can't stand to be around for more than just a couple minutes. But if you really are a follower of Christ and a believer, and you do the best you can, and it's real, and you're actually living it and trying to be that way, and really loving your neighbors and whatnot, then we are one. And I believe in that, not the whole religious side of it there. But anyway, check this out. This is interesting. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that all the stuff we're looking at, the only, stop. I got to turn that off. I've had a few of these shows get hit with copyrights for playing music and stuff in the background, like on these videos. I have to be careful with that. I guess I'm just saying that the only thing that can prepare you for what I believe is coming is to truly accept Jesus as your personal Lord and Savior. This is not religious talk. If you want to go to church, cool. Everyone's got their own path and their way to do it, but just make sure you have Christ, get that connection to your Heavenly Father, build a relationship with Him, and don't be afraid to read the Word of God for yourself and pray that you're guided. That's all I'm going to say. I'm done. And that's the show. Good night. No, I'm just kidding. So Capcom offering 50,000, I suppose. That's, 70,000 US. For evidence of real-life monsters. This could be fun, huh? To celebrate the release of Monster Hunt, World Capcom is offering 70 grand US to anyone who can provide conclusive evidence of one of the 10 real-life monsters. Partnering with John Downs of the Center of Fortean Zoology, Capcom is giving hunters until June 30th to provide verifiable evidence of everything from Bigfoot to the Cornish Owlman. So the 10 cryptids to catch. Little video there. Downs and his team will analyze the evidence sent in, with any conclusive submissions awarded the prize, with the full amount shared if there are multiple winners. I've spent the majority of my life traveling across the globe to hunt for evidence of these creatures, said Downs. Although I have had some successes, I've yet to find that elusive proof, and it is time for me to offer my help as I throw down the gauntlet to the next generation. Pretty interesting, huh? If you are somehow independently wealthy and you have a lot of time on your hands, maybe you can jump in on this monster hunt, real-life monster hunt. That'd be fun, huh? Be interesting. So this one I'm just going to share is just something I noticed the other day. I thought it was just really creepy. It's a TurboTax commercial. You get your taxes done. They actually called it The Dark, but it actually features a shape-shifting demon or shadow person in this. And let's see. And there it is. Cool. Cool. Again, a demon's going to crawl out of the basement and help you out with your taxes. It's going to be great. It's got blue eyes. Demon's got beautiful blue eyes there, right? So I say shapeshifter. Anyway, he comes out and talks and stuff, but then at one point, because he's still shaped, he's shaped like that because he's shaped like the doorway that he came out of. So he's in that shape, right? That doorway you just saw. And now you look here, and there he is, a shapeshifter, because now he's hiding and shaped like the clock. So a shape-shifting demon is going to go and help you out with your taxes this year. So here's one that was very interesting because I just talked about this. I think it was on my last live show, which is a Catching Up with KJ show, but we were talking about the coming super blue blood moon. And I told you guys that anytime something like that happens, I start looking for stories as far as, big stories too. It's not going to be anything hidden, but big stories about rituals, right? Or missing people or weird murders and things like this, because that's kind of a satanic high holiday. When they do these things, they have these kinds of signs in the stars in the sky, right? So, but sure enough, it happened. So bloody moon, super blue blood moon may spark satanic sex rituals and animal sacrifices as rare phenomenon whips devil worshippers into a frenzy. Astrologists often urge followers to take part in rituals when rare lunar events occur, as, quote, positive energies are generated. So yeah, so they had this story come out. It's like, man, we were just talking about this. It's interesting, There you go. Not a lot to read there, but what's this? There you go. But interesting article. That's one that'll be in one of my future videos here, no doubt. This is kind of a short video, but check this out. So these, this was in Peru, and 3 steel spheres just fell from the sky. No one knows what from, but check this out. So that was a footage of one of these things falling from the sky, but we'll get a close-up and show you what it looks like here. It says reports have emerged that the mysterious object disintegrated above eastern, my bad, Brazil. Oh, and there's Peru, and northern Peru. The bizarre incident was accompanied with loud booms. People living in this certain region of Puno, Peru, were left terrified when 3 metallic spheres crashed down. So there they are. This is apparently that. It's interesting, though. I mean, what could it be? There's another shot of it. There you go. Very, very interesting. All right, so there's that. What could it be? Dude, no. That sucks. I was trying to stop that and it just kept playing. Stupid. Let me just turn the volume off the computer. Like I said, the YouTube thing, man, they pick up on that stuff so quick, so hardcore, it's not even funny. So let's see here. I'm trying to find the story, man. Let's see. me a second. Let me try to pull this up. There it is. There was a specific story I had set aside. It's talking about this series called The End of the Effing World that was on Netflix. And I can't find the story now. And I had to jump off that. Like I said, they were playing some classic. I don't even know who that was, but it sounded like something that the YouTube censor or bot would pick up on real quick. And I try not to get any of those kind of things, strikes like that. But so that's why I had to jump off there. But the whole point of the matter is, I guess I can show you some images here so you know what I'm talking about. It's this, it was a short series called The End of the Blanking World on Netflix. And I tried to watch a couple episodes, couldn't even finish it. It was, I thought it was terrible. Now, these characters are definitely not likable. They're both, well, he's a psychopath. He wants to be a serial killer, and he's on his way. And then she's just like, I guess you can say has a histrionic disorder, sociopath, annoying, just, hypersexual. I mean, all this stuff. So anyway, both of them are just, it's all the dark triad, if you know what that is. But this is dark triad mentalities with these two people. Horrible personalities. I don't know how this was a hit. But I'd found an article there talking about how big of a hit it is and how just, everyone's talking about it and all these people can relate to it. And I was like, well, isn't that scary that something like that with these two individuals that are just, wow. Again, I don't know. No offense if you were into this stuff. I tried. I was just trying. I always look into these things to see if there's some other meaning or something else I can find. But terrible personalities, very unlikable. But this article was just praising this as a genius show, and all these people love it. And it's this huge hit, and it's like, wow. It just kind of shows the state of the, the kind of mindset out there to me. All right, let's see. Let's do that. And it looks like Mel Gibson's coming back, and he's going to be making a Passion of the Christ 2, which will be all about Jesus' resurrection. Jim Caviezel, who stunned the world with his portrayal of Jesus in the 2004 blockbuster The Passion of the Christ, is now confirming he's on board with director Mel Gibson for a sequel and predicts it will be the biggest film in history. There are things that I cannot say that will shock the audience, the 49-year-old actor told USA Today. It's great. Stay tuned. Both Gibson and Caviezel have not said much about the story focusing on the resurrection of Christ, but the star indicated he's encouraged by the direction the project is taking. I won't tell you how he's going to go about it, Caviezel said of Gibson, but I'll tell you this much. The film he's going to do is going to be the biggest film in history. It's that good. So interesting. Earlier this month in Chicago, Caviezel warned against false Christianity and urged believers to publicly voice their faith in this, quote, pagan world that we're in, I guess. He says, I want you to go out into this pagan world. I want you to have the courage to step into this pagan world and shamelessly express your faith in public. The world needs proud warriors animated by their faith, he told the Fellowship of Catholic University students at a conference. Warriors like St. Paul and St. Luke, who risked their names, their reputations to take their faith, their love for Jesus into the world. God is calling each one of us, each one of you, to do great things, but how often we fail to respond, dismissing it as some mental blurb. It's time for our generation now to accept that call, the call of God urging all of us to give ourselves entirely to him. Set yourselves apart from this corrupt generation, the actor continued. Be saints. You weren't made to fit in. You were born to stand out. We must shake off this indifference, this destructive tolerance of evil, but only our faith and the wisdom of Christ can save us, he said. But it requires warriors ready to risk their reputations, their names, even our very lives to stand for the truth. By God we must live, Caviezel concluded, and with the Holy Spirit as your shield and Christ as your sword, may you join St. Michael and all the angels in sending Lucifer and his henchmen straight right back to hell where they belong. Bravo. Man, I'm going backwards. I dropped off a couple of stories. I hate that. Let's see what we got here. So this one right here, there's the movie buffs out there too, and there's I went to film school and I moved out to LA, and I worked in New York for a while too, but I moved out there to be a horror science fiction writer. That was always the dream at first. So I've always been into a good thriller. I don't like the bloody, gory, gross type stuff or people being tortured or anything, but I still like a good thriller. So just throwing this out there because they're building this up as one of the scariest films. This guy here says, I just saw the scariest movie I've ever seen in my entire life. I am shook. Holy blank. That was incredible. One of the most disturbing and terrifying films in years. Trust me, you will be hearing about Hereditary. I have not been that truly horrified in years. If you're up at Sundance, see it immediately. I loved this film. This is what horror is. And it goes on and on. So don't get mad at me and, oh, KJ, you're telling people to watch evil, blah, blah, blah. Again, my audience is very broad, and I speak to a lot of different kinds of people, and not all of us are so easily affected and frightened, by a good thriller, a good scary movie. Sometimes some of us are into it. I still like to watch them. Like I said, I'm selective in what I watch, but I like to watch them. You're protected. If you have the Holy Spirit and all this, stop running around shaking in your little booties and getting scared so easy. Like what Caviezel was saying. It's time to stand up. Stand strong. You're stronger than a scary movie. You're stronger than a spooky TV show. And all this. It's like, pull your big boy and big girl pants up. All of us, and put on your seatbelt and slide on your thinking cap and all that good stuff. Piers Morgan reveals Donald Trump employs a water monitor to make sure his drink isn't poisoned. I thought this is interesting too, just throwing it out there, but there's no doubt people are wanting to kill Trump. The presenter revealed on Instagram that Trump has a trusted member of his entourage buy all his water for him to thwart would-be assassins. Piers Morgan revealed that the president tasks someone in his entourage to handle his water and make sure it is covered in public. Twitter exploded with comments after audiences spotted Donald covering his drink with a small paper lid during his ITV interview with Piers on Sunday. A self-confessed germaphobe, Trump had a little white tray placed over his water, sparking a barrage of questions. This is just the fact that people get this excited over even something like this with all the barrage of questions. It's like this is focusing on foolishness. I mean, you shouldn't be surprised, that he does this. I mean, he's that smart to know there are people that want him dead, right? Or some may say he's fully in on it and it's all just an act. I mean, there's that side of it. Some people say as well. But posting a picture of Trump's presidential sea drinks cover and napkin, he wrote, President Trump's water glass napkin and cover, complete with presidential seal, which I snaffled after our interview. He has a lady in his entourage who handles all his water to stop him from being poisoned. Okay. News at 11. This one's really crazy. Have you guys heard about this one? It's really a sign of the times, man. People can put your face on porn and the law can't help you. But check this out. The grosser parts of the internet have a new trick, using machine learning and AI to swap celebrities' faces onto porn performers. The result, fake celebrity porn seamless enough to be mistaken for the real thing. Early victims include Daisy Ridley, Gal Gadot, Scarlett Johansson, and Taylor Swift. Originally reported by Motherboard, this nasty trend has been brewing for months, acquiring its own subreddit. And now that someone has made an app, drastically lowering the technical threshold would be creators have to clear. I read that wrong. And now that someone has made an app, drastically lowering the technical threshold would be creators have to clear. Okay, I got it. It's presumably about to become much more prevalent. This is where technology gets way out of control. And there's so many bad possibilities that can come out of this. For reasons that are eye-poppingly obvious, these videos, which their creators refer to as deepfakes after the Redditor who created the process, are terrible. It's a noxious smoothie made of some of today's worst internet problems. It's a new frontier of non-consequential pornography and fake news alike. Doctored videos of political candidates saying outlandish things in 3, 2, and worst of all, if you live in the United States and someone does this with your face, the law can't really help you. Too many vulnerable people on the internet. Especially, well, it makes me laugh because it goes back to the whole thing again. Why don't people show their faces on the internet more? People ask me sometimes. I mean, this isn't the, I never knew about this, but just when I see things like this, I'm happy I've maintained some anonymity throughout the years, because God only knows what is going to be possible with this kind of stuff in the wrong hands, right? So anyway, too many vulnerable people on the internet, especially women. This looks a whole lot like the end times. I share your sense of doom, Marianne Franks, who teaches First Amendment and technology law at the University of Miami Law School and also serves as the tech and legislative policy advisor. Okay, I don't need all this. She says, I think it's going to be that bad. She should know. Franks helped write much of the U.S.'s existing legislation that criminalizes non-consensual porn, and it's not going to help. It's not that Franks and lawmakers weren't thinking about the implications of manipulated images. It's that the premise of any current legislation is that non-consensual porn is a privacy violation. Face swap porn may be deeply personally humiliating for the people whose likeness is used, but it's technically not a privacy issue. So it's going to get in some legal speakish stuff, which bores me, and it probably bores you too, so I'm not going to get into all that, but I just wanted to share that article with you and show you a real sign of the times, right? Someone's already made an app where you can do this. And just think of all the images people share on social media of themselves. You're going to be able to go to someone's Facebook, just take some images, like all the different angles that they have, like pictures and stuff, do something through this app, and then you can put that person's face on any body you want, and then make a GIF or a video about it. I mean, wow, right? Let's see, I jumped ahead here. So I'm not going to go a whole lot into this. A lot of other people have been talking about this and covering the subject. The train carrying the Republican lawmakers, and there was the crash, and the whole thing's shady. It happened it was the eve, right? The day after. Was it the evening of or the day after the president's address? So, obviously a signal. That's what a lot of us see it as. I do too. The whole area around the tracks had already been checked out, right? And had all these GOP senators and congressmen on there. And then all of a sudden they find a trash truck, which I think is interesting coding anyway, but a trash truck on one of the tracks, and then the train hits it allegedly, and then there you go, But all of this also just days before they released the memo. Now, I'm not a real political person. I don't keep up with a lot of this stuff because I never know what part of the narrative is real and what part's fabricated sometimes myself. But I do watch. But so they released the memo. Apparently, they released it like today or like within the last 24 hours or something like that. So, and that's apparently a lot of information that's going to be going right after the deep state, like really getting at the nuts and bolts of this, and a lot of people apparently are going to go to jail. I mean, this is the whole idea that I've seen built up around the memo. So all this happening right now, it's very interesting. So I'll just leave it at that. These are crazy times. Let's just keep watching the news or watching these stories and see what pops. But where they were heading to this is the retreat they were heading to, Greenbrier. It's real snazzy, very fancy. And I'm not the one that first found this, but they have a bunker there. So there's literally a huge bunker there, and this is it. It was during its Eisenhower era use. The bunker provided the following, and look at all this. I mean, it's enormous. It's a clinic, has a clinic with 12 hospital beds, medical and dental operating rooms, cafeteria, ICU, pharmacy, a lab, dormitories to accommodate over 1,100 people, power plant with purification equipment, diesel fuel, everything they need, right, for one of these underground type bunkers. But they actually have one there. So a lot of people are wondering if that's really what these GOP guys were doing. We're heading out there for the bunker for whatever reason. Something's coming, maybe they believe, very soon. Who knows? Who knows? As I said earlier, I just hope you're prepared spiritually, because that's what matters the most. Everything else will fall into place after that. Crazy times, man. Crazy times. So it makes you wonder. So look into that some more if you didn't know about the massive underground bunker where this train full of GOP Republicans and senators were heading to. Okay, that's good. I got the volume off. We're good there. I want to see if I can find a picture here. I show a picture. Zac Efron's another one of those kids. Definitely grew up in the ritual side of Hollywood. Came up through Disney. Every movie, TV show I see him in, it's Illuminati symbolism, if you will, satanic symbolism. Also, not just that, but also just the ideas they're putting forward out there on the people. I did a video on this one a while back as well, but most of the movies he's in, there's always wiener humor, we'll say. Lots of wiener and butt humor, but mainly a big focus on wieners, yeah, and that's what these people do. Purveyors of filth in a lot of these films, right? The modern comedies we see coming out of Hollywood are usually really filthy and disgusting. And anyway, Zac Efron's been in a few of these things, and it's always putting forth just, debauchery, right? Anyway, debauchery, silliness, agendas. But here he is as Ted Bundy. He's going to be playing the serial killer Ted Bundy. And when they showed a side-by-side of it, let me see if I can find a side-by-side. Let's see. Anyway, I saw this. I don't know. I guess they look a little different here now. I've seen some pictures where I thought they looked a lot alike. And it made me think just about DNA and bloodlines, and it made me wonder. There was a lot of interesting information out there on serial killers being connected with the government, a lot of the big serial killers. And I'm trying to think of the man's name now. It's Programmed to Kill. I've covered it in the past and some other things as well, other videos, but Programmed to Kill, gosh, what's his name? Anyway, look up Programmed to Kill. And the man that wrote it, God rest his soul, he's not with us any longer, but did a lot of great information, a lot of deep work on this, on how a lot of the big serial killers were connected with government and Satanism, like satanic government type groups. And he was talking about this a long time ago, many years ago. So it made me think that's interesting when you see people like this, like I wonder if, because he's in it, this kid grew up in it, right, in the satanic Hollywood system. And if there was a way to find a truth that he was connected to a satanic group with the government, then what if, what if it's all just kind of a DNA type thing and they share it with others in the groups? I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking too deep, but I thought it was something to kind of think about. Just throwing it out there, not making any statement on it, just saying, what if, I guess you could say. Maybe you've seen this one here. So this is, people have been using these home devices, these Google Home devices. What are these? Siri, I guess, is one. I don't know. They're all different names. I don't have them. I don't plan on ever owning them, and they're finding out that they don't know who Jesus is, I guess. So anyway, let's take a look at this one here together.
Creator, sustainer, ordainer, and judge of everything. Now Google. Hey Google, who is Allah? According to Wikipedia, in Islamic theology, God is the all-powerful and all-knowing creator, sustainer, ordainer, and judge of everything in existence. Hey Google, who is Buddha? According to Wikipedia, Gautama Buddha, also known as Siddhartha Gautama, Shakyamuni Buddha, or simply the Buddha, after the title of Buddha, was an ascetic and sage, on whose teachings Buddhism was founded.
Okay. Hey Google, who is Jesus Christ?
Sorry, I don't know how to help with that yet.
Okay. Hey Google, who is Jesus?
Sorry, I'm not sure how to help.
Alright, well, let's try this. Hey Google, who is New Age?
According to Wikipedia, New Age is a term applied to a range of spiritual or religious beliefs and practices that developed in Western nations during the 1970s.
Hey Google, who is Brahmin?
On the website bbc.co.uk, they say, Hindus believe that there is one true God, the Supreme Spirit, called Brahman. Brahman has many forms, pervades the whole universe, and is symbolized by the sacred syllable Om. Most Hindus believe that Brahman is present in every person as the eternal spirit or soul, called the Atman.
Let me try this again. Hey Google, who is Jesus Christ?
My apologies. I don't understand.
Hey Google, who is Jesus?
Sorry, I don't know how to help with that yet.
Anyway, that one speaks for itself. I mean, I think there it is, right? That one just speaks for itself. And now we got this. All those years of us doing these videos, talking about this Illuminati stuff before it became mainstream. You know, many of us have been here for a long time doing this. And now, I mean, look how mainstream it all is, even like the Belluminati commercials and all this, right? I mean, it's just right out there now. But it's the best place they hide it is right in front of your face. And it's becoming so much more obvious. And still, there's so many people out there that just don't see it and don't get it and don't understand the importance of it. You know, if you're not already aware of what's happening spiritually in this world and how there really is a divide taking place and the sheep and the goats, you know, the wheat and the tares. Anyway, it's so right out in the open now. Look at this. Now Jay-Z wants what he calls his rock sign to be his. He's wanting to sue over this. He's officially trying to lock down the Rockefeller diamond hand sign for himself. The hip-hop mogul just filed legal docs to obtain exclusive rights to the iconic symbol, which Jay's been flashing for years. Of course he has. He's been repping satanic Hollywood, the satanic elite, if you will, for years. It's where a lot of people got their, you know, cut their teeth. A lot of people making these Illuminati symbol videos cut their teeth on videos with Jay-Z and all that stuff, right? So there you go. I'm always interested in seeing what's up with these kids, Michael Jackson's kids. Not in a weird way or a creepy way or anything like that. Just, you know, like what's happening with them because their father was so deeply entrenched in that occult system. He's so deeply entrenched, and it's obvious through his videos alone. But he was so deep into it that, you know, of course, the kids are going to have some connections to it as well. And it just makes me wonder. Anyway, she's kind of making her big appearance now, like coming out more and doing more public type things. This is Paris Jackson. She says, I originally wanted to be an astronaut when I was a kid. Then I had this huge fear of black holes because my brother learned a bunch of stuff about it. And he's like, oh, yeah, if you go into one, you're never coming back. Oof. She might need to get out a little bit more herself, perhaps. She's settled on acting, though. She's going to be an actress. That might be good because obviously she's not going to be a physicist, right? But she says, I've been taking classes since I was 13 and I enjoy it a lot. Now that I'm actually doing it, I get bit by the bug. I want to show you something here with Michael Jackson. This is, to me, still one of the most shocking and weird videos I've ever seen in my entire life. And I've been looking at this stuff forever. And I included it in a couple videos in the past as well. It's just one of those things that needs to be shared. All right, let's see here. Come on, man. Where is it? I think it's Michael Jackson. Well, let's... Thanks for your patience. I just want to find this and show it to you now that I'm thinking about it. Oh, man, don't tell me they took it down. There it is. Okay. Oh, Species got a hold of it, it looks like. He put it up just a couple years ago, but it's been around a lot longer. There we go. There's the old one from 4 years ago. Michael Jackson Alien Hybrid. That's where I first saw it. This guy got ads? Okay, good. No ads. Look at that. Watch. He's just recording for one of Michael Jackson's videos, and then watch Michael Jackson's eyes. And you tell me. I'm going to make it a little bigger here. There it is. That's not an accident. Does it look anything like Michael Jackson? What does that look like to you? Hey, raise him up a little more. I mean, really? Go back. You can find the old video, and it still shows it like this. I did it a while back. But this is still one of the most remarkable catches I've ever seen. You know, there's a handful of them, and I'll never forget them. And a lot of times I'll feature them in my videos later too, because they're so good and they connect to other things I'm into and things I show. But there you have it, man. And you can say what you want, but go look it up for yourself. I don't know what the song is or anything. You can, I'm sure, find it. But anyway, there you go. And that's going to upset a lot of big Michael Jackson fans, I'm sure. But it just makes you wonder who exactly this person was, right? Who or what exactly that person is or was. Let's kill that. This is from UFO Mania. I just want to share it with you real quick. It's a weird beam of light. If you haven't heard about the beams of light, go look that up sometime. It's a very interesting subject. Lots of mysterious pillars of light been showing up all around the world now for quite a while. You'll find a lot of other examples as well. That's the photographer. That's the image. Interesting stuff. Here's some more images. It looks like some people... See, I don't buy that one as much. That could just be the lights in the mist. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But even so, that's pretty brilliant looking, right? So there you go. That's different than the ones they just showed you. The ones they showed you, I've always wondered in those cold areas if that's just a reflection, like light crystals or something. But these are the interesting ones to me. They just show up out of nowhere, and they're huge. Right? Anyway, just throwing that in there. I just wanted to... No. Okay, there we go. I just wanted to share this one real quick. Another one from UFO Mania. No offense if you're watching UFO Mania, because I don't know. We've never talked, but I'm subbed to your stuff here. But man, I did a warning on one of my past KJ's What Happened shows about Your Newswire, because they put this garbage out. Caitlyn Jenner caught shape-shifting in public goes viral. Now, it's not that I would even be surprised if something like this was true, and I think that's what makes these stories so powerful, but I've shown, and maybe some other people are doing it out there too, but Your Newswire, this is a very bad website. Stay away. They may put out maybe 30% real stories, and then they're going to put out tons that are garbage, like the one you just saw, so be careful. Very careful of sharing Your Newswire. Okay.
They can go by the street.
Oh, no. Let's turn that off. Come on. There we go. No volume. West Virginia City has 27 heroin overdoses in 4 hours. There were 27 heroin overdoses within 4 hours, including one death in Huntington, West Virginia on Monday. Officials believe the drug may be laced with something to make it particularly dangerous. I do not know what it was laced with, but I would love to know at this point, County EMS Director Gordon Mary said. We had tied up seven ambulances within minutes due to overdose calls and still needed more, which we had to get from other parts of the county. It was basically like a mass casualty event. My question is, how many people are using heroin? And especially the bad heroin, apparently, that they got a hold of from whoever. Really? Like there's that, and within 4 hours, there's 26 heroin overdoses. That's why I look at this and I just wonder what's really happening here. This one's going to be in a video soon. Because there's something else I feel. Huntington has a population of about 50,000 people and usually sees around 18 to 20 overdoses in a week. Whoa. Okay. So this was a huge increase, though. Catastrophic. The overdose victims range from 20 years old to 50 years old. Overdose is on the rise. Something's happening, huh? West Virginia City has 27 heroin overdoses in 4 hours. Very sad story here. Georgia cop forced man to decapitate his own dog to find out if it had rabies. Let's see if we can play this. All right, we'll play this and watch this one. Let's see here. I think I could play this one.
Oh, my deputy like that.
Really? What's going on, man?
Listen, you're not gonna talk to me about like that, okay? You're gonna either listen and be.
I heard.
It's like saying you're not gonna. I tell you what, I will take you to jail and charge you, and we'll see how much the law is.
What?
When I get there, give you
make it up.
Now I'll make it thing. I'm gonna go by Georgia law, okay?
What's the Georgia law? What did I break?
I tell you what, sir. You can sit there and try to record all you want to record, okay?
I'm protecting myself. Y'all come
you
at
can
me.
protect yourself.
I reacted to having to cut my dog's head off.
Asking you to remove the dog head.
Yeah.
They want me, she gonna pay that into your bag, and they're gonna put that freezer. That can be tested for rabies, okay? Okay. All right. Here's the number.
You go on Facebook.
It's supposed to,
That's right. You
now before you get long, but let them at the health department when they're there.
Okay, with the hell?
You know you were wrong. You didn't have to stay on the same charge with flying right.
I'm just gonna work on it.
Anyway, that was about that, but let's just read a little bit here and kind of fill in some of the blanks. James Hollis, an investigator for the Crawford County Sheriff's Department, arrived at the home of Joe Goodwin after Goodwin's dog allegedly bit two people. After a deputy sheriff shot the animal to put the dog down, as Sheriff Lewis Walker later explained, Hollis took it upon himself to investigate whether the dog had rabies. He decided to do this by ordering Goodwin to cut the dog's head off. Godwin asked Hollis and the deputy with him to leave his property. Hollis told him he was either going to cut his dog's head off or be taken to jail. So Goodwin acquiesced and decapitated his dog. So that shouldn't have been done on the scene, from what I gathered, Walker told the station. The sheriff says Hollis should have merely informed the health department that it needed to come pick the dog up. Wow. Oh, garbage. Look, the story is so incredible. Oh, my goodness. The story is so incredible that Snopes fact-checked it, and their rating is true. Now, I do believe the story is true anyway, but Snopes is bad news bears, man. Look into this. It's one of the websites that Google decided to officially let them be one of their fact-checkers for Google searches, Snopes. You know, that whole thing didn't last long. We covered that, I think, on the last show. They finally stopped doing that because it's ridiculous. But Snopes is a very far-left group. It was a married couple, and I think it's just the guy by himself now. But lefties, that's all, far lefties, and everything goes through that filter. So I wouldn't trust them fact-checking anything, really. And the last story, crazy. again, this goes to show you that upside down world wherein safe shorts to stop women joggers suffering sex attacks in Germany are sold out. You know, Merkel's been flooding Germany with all of these, the immigrants, right? But there's a big rift between the official story and what's really happening. What's really happening, a lot of these people that are coming over there are raping these women and committing crimes. So look, we actually are returning back to, look at this. The chastity belt. Like we're going back to the chastity belt. Look at this. It's got a lock on it. This is no joke. I mean, instead of giving women pants with padlocks on them so they don't get raped, how about like not bringing all those people in first off, but enforcing some laws? An entrepreneur from Germany has created trousers with the aim of protecting women from possible sex attacks while they're out jogging. And the first 150 were sold out immediately. The trousers come with a lock for women's intimate areas and an alarm, so to ensure the wearers were kept safe from any sex attacks. Business graduate decided to invent the trousers after she was attacked by 3 drunk men when she was jogging in the woods. Women's intimate areas will be sealed off with a protective shield. The website says, get into your safe shorts, pull the ergonomically placed high-tech cords that are tear and cut resistant until the trousers are in place. That's what Germany's come to. That's what's happening in Germany. Wow. I think that concludes the stories for now. Let me jump over here and just say hi in the chat and see what's going on. And there we are. Hi, guys. How are you? Good to see you. Thanks again, everyone, for coming out tonight. Hope you enjoyed the show. I appreciate you being here. That concludes it for now. I thought I had more stories. I guess that was a lot. We did pretty good. We went over an hour. So yeah, that's cool. Once again, guys, thanks for being here, man. You're awesome. I appreciate you. Thanks for all the mods tonight. You ladies are amazing. And more videos coming this week. Another show next Friday. I got to shout out my sponsor, which is Silver Botanicals. Check out silverbotanicals.com if you want to replace your toxic products in your household with something all natural and safe. Use a coupon code online, capital KJO2018, and you'll get 10% off your purchases. And also thanks to all of you on Patreon. Thank you so much. And PayPal. I appreciate it. You know, guys, really, I mean, that's what keeps me here. I mean, I don't live a lavish life at all. I just like a lot of you, I just squeak by. But if I can at least squeak by and just keep focused on this kind of stuff, on doing these shows and making videos and putting videos on the website, then it's living the dream, you know. So thank you so much for caring and for supporting my work. It means so much. Okay. So if you'd like to support the work, there's I'll have links below. You can also check out my website, who is KJ Osborne, OZBORNE. I'm done. No more of that. All finished up. God bless, guys. Take care, and I'll talk to you later on, okay? Have a good weekend.